Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network. Yo! Oh my God!
Yo. It's Yo MMA Rap with Louis J. Gomez and Dave Smith.
Yo, it's MMA Rap coming at you like an attack from a cat. Meow, meow.
Might be your best rap yet. Might be the one.
Meow, meow.
It was catchy. It had a gimmick to it.
Yeah.
But you know Louis, the cat rapper?
Dude, do you remember DJ Skat Kat?
From the Paula Abdul video?
Yes.
Oh, yes, I do now. 2 steps forward, 2 steps back.
2 steps forward, 2 steps back. That was fucking a cat. Can we just point this out?
And she was like real flirty with the cat too, like sexy dancing with him. She wasn't just fucking him, she was enjoying it.
We could be lovers. She makes the bed and he steals the covers.
What was like? You just imagine like the pitch.
He's a
for
cat.
video.
I understand.
They're
Also,
like, okay, they're like,
he's-
all right, we got an idea for a video. Now her love interest is a cat.
cat. Only as a
Cartoon
cat. It's a. He's sort of like a rough around the edges cat. He's not even like a good cat.
She goes, yes, but that's what the ladies love about him.
Yeah, he definitely had feline AIDS.
You go, all right, I understand you guys aren't buying this idea. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to self-fund this thing. I'm going to give you the video. If it's not the best video you have ever seen, you don't have to. How about that?
Oh, did your thing come unplugged?
Oh, shit.
No, it's
Yep.
back. You're good.
All right. There we go.
I liked it.
I like that we're analyzing Paula Abdul's video.
I'll make the entire Vic, and I mean this. We won't even mention UFC 280.
See, the problem, Vic, is that a lot of people tried to analyze Paula Abdul's videos, say, in 1993, but there wasn't enough time hadn't passed. You hadn't really like let it settle in and think about the broader context of what it really meant to humanity. Now, in 2022, now's the time to really take a look back with the benefit of hindsight.
Honestly, what is DJ Skat Kat up to right now? We got to get him on the podcast.
He blew his money. Drug problems.
Yeah, dude. He's like Mike
Sad
Tyson,
story.
dude. He bought other cats, large cats.
I want
all right.
to buy the rights, by the way, to DJ Skat Kat. Can we look into that? Can we have someone?
What if he?
You could probably pick it up on the cheap. You could pick it up on the cheap right now, Vic.
Dude, can I just become DJ Skat Kat? Like, just say, dude, I'll buy his whole personality.
We better spend $13 on the rights just to cover our bases before.
Dude,
you
I'm going to start over as DJ Skat Kat, dude. I saw touring as him. People are like, dude, you remember him? He's a touring comedian now.
They'd be like, no, we weren't born. We don't remember him.
Shout out to Yokratom, yokratom.com for supporting today's show. Marquee sponsor for this show and the marquee sponsor for this past Skank Fest that just happened in Las Vegas, Nevada. Shout out to everyone that came out to the Skank festivities. Victor, you were not there. You thought you were too good for our festival, huh?
I wasn't invited. There's some bad blood there now. Nobody said, Vic, come on, let's go. What was that about?
Natalie was there.
Sure, it must have gotten lost in the mail.
But according to Jason Ellis, everyone got COVID.
A lot of people did get COVID. Vic. Maybe it's better you didn't go.
So, you didn't get COVID, Dave? You're lucky.
No, I've had it a couple times though, so I might have some immunity.
I was personally giving COVID. I got COVID on purpose, and then I went to Skank Fest specifically to super spread.
All right.
See, I thought it was only happening to freaky deaky, sexually explicit skateboarders that fight people. But
Well,
apparently
they are the first indicator.
Yeah, I mean, Ellis got COVID, but he probably was having a fucking orgy in his hotel room with his band of fucking
you get it, Louis?
misfits. No, I had COVID not that long ago, though. I had COVID a few months ago.
Right.
so take that, Jason Ellis.
Whatever. Nobody dies from COVID anymore.
Nobody
Well-
ever died from COVID.
Damn, Dave. Tell it like it is.
We're gonna get banned from YouTube.
Come on, Vic. Just bleep that whole section out. Just one long
Probably
bleep.
take that out. Just cover our bases.
Yeah,
Oh.
that one we'll have to be safe on.
Just a bit. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy?
Yep.
Even though you guys were joking, we can't put that on.
Tongue in cheek. That's how I gave that girl COVID. I put my tongue in her cheek. Anyway, look, we have an incredible show planned today. Vic, I saw what you did with the social media. I don't like being razzed from my own inner circle on social media. This is a crazy way to be.
How did he razz you? I didn't say.
I put a poll up and I said, what are we going to talk about the most today? Yeah, pull it up, please.
Pull up the poll on the
MMA,
Twitter.
rap Twitter. And the options were, what are we going to talk about most today? MMA, Lewis and Belize, or Skank Fest?
Ooh, what were those results?
I don't know what you're pulling up right now. I don't know who's in charge. Whoever this person is needs to be murdered, not even fired. Whatever just happened just there, this person needs to be murdered. Was it Coop? It was Coop.
Click on one of them.
That wasn't me the first time. This is me now.
What will we talk about on today's show?
Well, I want to see the results.
MMA, Lewis and Belize, or Skank Fest. What do you think, Coop? What's your vote? What do you think we're going to talk about most?
I think Lewis and Belize.
Let's see. I'm going to go Lewis and Belize.
Let's see. Ooh, Skank Fest got 46.5% of the vote. 44% of the vote is Lewis and Belize, and 9.5% of the vote was MMA. And you know what, guys? I don't know if people were. I don't know if this is what people want, but this is what we're going to give them. Vic, I need you to let us know when we are 44% into the show, and we will switch topics from Belize to Skank Fest. 44.5% of the show will be Skank Fest talk, and the last 9.5% of this measly little program will be spent on the whatever sport of MMA.
You go. All right. So
agonize the MMA fan base.
You go. Okay. Good card. All right. See you next time, Lewis.
No, we're going to talk MMA on today's show.
Of course. We're
going to do another fucking recap. We already did a recap on Legion of Skanks for Skank Fest. You know.
Yeah.
Any questions about Belize?
Let's do a couple minutes on Belize. How was Belize?
Belize was great.
Boring. Let's get to MMA.
I want to do a podcast with Bisping called Belize You Me. And we just talk Belize. Me and Bisping, we put all of our shit aside. We get together once a week, get the band back together.
Yeah. I mean, look, you guys had your issues, but when there's money on the table, there's money on the table.
We talk all things Belize. Placencia, San Pedro, San Ignacio.
There's about 25 episodes there.
Jellyfish. The whole episode, dude, we'll do a whole episode on the moon jellyfish.
Very nice.
Which we saw all over the place, by the way. Have you ever fucking seen a jellyfish in real life, Dave?
No, but I just hate your like cocky, like I'm coming back from vacation knowing 3 things I didn't know.
What?
And now I'm going to present them like, oh, did you know the moon jellyfish? It's slightly different than regular jellyfish.
Well, they're fucking freaky. Dude, pull up a moon jellyfish, J.R. Coop. Coop, first of all, obviously, she'd already be pulling up a jellyfish. Look at these motherfuckers.
I had it ready to go.
Maybe pull up a video of it. Click on the video thing. Look right there, videos.
Now he's just testing them.
Look at this bitch, dude. They were in the water and jellyfish freak me out. But I touched it. I touched the top of it like if it was an umbrella. I put my finger, and you know what? I thought my finger was going to go through it, like and murder its body. It felt like meat, dude.
Weird creature.
It's fucking bizarre.
I think that's how Aljamain Sterling felt when he hit TJ Dillashaw.
TJ Dillashaw's shoulders are made of moon jellyfish. Solid joke, Vic. Joke of the day goes to fucking Vic Mysterio, who honestly might be the funniest person on this show. I'll say that right now.
Quite possibly.
Yeah. So, all right, you guys, fine. You can each ask 8 questions about Belize. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm out with how was Belize. That's all I had.
Stop saying Belize.
Huh?
It's Belize.
I said Belize. You said Belize.
No, you said Belize.
You didn't even learn how to say it while you were there?
Yeah.
Spent all your time learning about moon jellyfish?
Victor, you're from Mexican culture. Do you think that's what Belize is like? Because it's not.
I didn't even know Belize was in Mexico, is it?
It's not in Mexico. No, it's in
near
Central
Mexico,
America.
I think, right?
I think to a certain degree. I mean, in the sense that all of that down there is near Mexico.
Those are the other Latins. We have nothing in common with the other Latins.
Well, Belize was almost like Jamaica meets Central America. So it had like Mayan, Mexican-y type vibes, but then it also had like reggae and fucking, just like beachy fucking vibes. And it was like there was a lot of like Jamaicans and Mexicans running around. It was very bizarre.
It's like, ¿Cómo estás, Dave? Hey, man. ¿Cómo estás? Let's hang out, brother. It's kind of the weird. That's my weird half Mexican, half Jamaican.
Oh yeah, it's
accent.
very close to Mexico.
Oh yeah, Mexico's that
Bordering
giant
Mexico.
which, by the way, Mexico also looks like a boot. They give that credit to Italy, but that looks like a big old fucking boot right there.
Mexico looks like a retarded boot.
Yeah,
Looks like a special boot.
their people act like retarded boots, in my opinion. You gonna take that out too, Victor? Fucking pig vomit, fucking censoring us.
No, I was gonna ask Coop to pull up other pictures of countries shaped like boots or landmasses.
I just like one of the funniest things about tech censorship is like when you have to like gauge the current environment you're in. So you're like, I said the thing about COVID not being real. And we're like, yeah, you should probably bleep that out. That might get us in trouble. And then you're like, yeah, Mexicans are a bunch of retarded boots. And you're like, I say let that one slide. I think we're going to be okay with that. No one's going to fucking care.
Yeah. What are they going to do? Let's see. Okay. Well, obviously that's Italy. We know that one.
Yeah, I just thought that was a good picture.
That's a high stiletto. Okay, let's talk MMA. Dave, you take the lead on this.
No, dude, get the fuck out of here. I got this, dude. First of all, we're still talking Belize. I know Coop has questions.
It was just you offered everyone 8 questions. No one cares about your vacation.
Coop,
that
go ahead.
much.
Ask your question. Go ahead.
You're just going to force him to draw out generic
Foop.
questions about your vacation.
Call them Foop.
How was the food?
Did your girlfriend put her hand in a jellyfish?
All right, Dave, let's take a quick moment and thank one of our brand new sponsors, which is Chalk, CHOQ.com. It's been a while since we had a natural supplement here at Yo MMA Rap, and our friends at Chalk have stepped up as they are the only natural supplement product worthy of the Yo MMA Rap stamp of approval.
Oh, yeah. Guys who eat really well, train hard, and are in good shape don't see the need for supplements. The thing is, guys, you got to take every advantage you can get. Isn't that right, Lewis?
Men's testosterone levels are at an all-time low, you little fucking bitches. And I'll tell you right now, that is pathetic. I just tested my testosterone levels. They could even be bigger. I'm one of the most manly men you'll ever fucking meet. And even
not according to those levels.
I could even use a little boost, okay? And Chalk has created a natural testosterone booster that is taking the sports nutrition and natural health world by storm. And I'll tell you right now, you got to check out Chalk for several reasons. The supplement industry is filled with weak, trashy, and dirty supplements, and the guys at Chalk are proud to stand above the rest in clean, pure, and healthy products. They use full disclosure labeling. They tell you the exact amount of everything that you're getting, every ingredient, and they never use proprietary blends. There's no label fluffing or underdosing. All ingredients are measured to exact clinical research.
Yep, Chalk Daily is the cleanest research-based testosterone booster available. Along with Chalk Daily, be sure to check out their Male Vitality Stack and the Stack Ultra. As the holiday season approaches, give the gift of better health to yourself and to others. Check out chalk.com. That's chalk with a Q. So CHOQ.com. And while you're there, make sure to use our promo code YOMMA at checkout for 35% off your entire order. They want to start off with a bang and get all of our fans here in the best shape for the new year. That's chalk.com, CHOQ.com, promo code YOMMA, and better yourself this winter with Chalk. All right, let's get back into the show.
My girlfriend did touch a jellyfish with her finger, and she squealed like a girl.
Did she describe it as feeling like meat?
No, that was just me. It was very meaty, guys. I'll tell you right now, you're not thinking that of a jellyfish. Most people are thinking a jellyfish is jelly-like.
All right, I think this has gone on a little too far.
Jellyfish, do you know they have anuses?
Yeah, that's fascinating. I'm starting to get on Vic's team here. I think maybe we should talk about this amazing UFC card.
Well, I did watch it from my villa in Belize.
Did the internet hold up okay for the stream?
Yeah, internet was great. And it was it a pay-per-view for you guys?
Sure. Yeah.
That means Dave stole it. Dave stole it for free on the internet.
Oh no, I bought the fuck out of that card.
It was $30 because I guess in Belize
it's like $75 on that thing.
Yeah, I just had to re-up it was UFC Fight Pass you had to have, which I didn't even know was a thing still. So I had to get a UFC Fight Pass subscription for $30, and I have to remember to cancel it, by the way, which I'm literally never going to do.
You're never going to do. You're going to spend more on that than I spent on the $75.
Guaranteed. 3 years later, I'm going to remember this exact thing because I'm going to be in another country where I have to sign up for Fight Pass. I'm like, wait a minute, I still have Fight Pass.
Yeah. It's literally, it's the once every few years when you lose your debit card or when your debit card expires. That's when you get out of all the shit you don't need.
It's a nice way to be. So anyway, I watched it in Belize. I watched almost the whole main card. Maybe not the opening fight. I was sort of paying attention and not paying attention. I cared about the top 3 fights, obviously.
Well, the event overall was just fucking really good, dude. Even outside of those 3, I mean, there were really good fights. I mean, the Bilal Muhammad fight was a really fucking good fight. The what's his name? Blanking on his fucking name. The other dude on the main card who fought, not in the top 3. What's his name, Vic? Dariush? How do you say?
Oh yeah,
it?
Benil Dariush. I watched that fight. He's a fucking monster, dude. 8 in a row.
Well, I'll tell you, coming in to my thing going into the fight was that, and I think I said this on the podcast, but I just looking at some of the odds, I thought it was insane that he was an underdog. I thought it was insane that Bilal Muhammad was an underdog. It's like, sometimes I get that the guys they're fighting are like real prospects, you know, and like that, no question, they're very good. But you got these guys who have like, I understand the odds are reflected by how people are betting and shit like that. But I'm just saying, like, these guys are fucking killers, man. And these guys they're fighting haven't fought anyone like them yet. And I think you saw that in both those fights. I will admit, I also thought Oliveira should have been a favorite, and I will concede I might have been wrong on that one.
Oh my god, dude! Yeah, I mean, look, let's start. Shout out to Benil Dariush, who had an amazing performance, and honestly, Gamrot looked incredible in the fight as well. You know, the reality is both incredible fighters. But let's talk about these top 3 fights in the main card. Sean O'Malley defeats Petr Yan via split decision. A lot of people are calling bullshit on this. Now, here I will say that I gotta watch the fight again. I just know that a lot of people are calling bullshit. A lot of people are saying that Petr Yan was robbed. I remember thinking like, oh shit, Petr Yan's taking this fight. But once again, it was close. It was a close fight. It was a
close fight. I think we're on the same page. It was a close fight. I thought Petr Yan won the fight.
Yeah, I didn't think there was any watching it. Watching it at the time, but I was sort of just like watching it, like enjoying it. But in my head, I was positive he won when I was watching. I was like, oh yeah, he won this fight.
But like after the fight, what are we just watching highlights?
There's some highlights. Yeah, you could have them on.
Yeah, sure. That's fine. So after the fight, like, you know, after the final bell, before the decision was announced, I thought I would have been super confident that Yan had won this fight. You know, I'd have to rewatch it. It was a fairly close fight. But I remember even then thinking the story of this fight is that this was the coming out party for Sean O'Malley. Like the story of the fight to me was like, oh, Sugar Sean O'Malley is for real. This is debatably the best guy in the division. Certainly the champ and him are the best 2 fighters in that division. And he fucking really held his own, gave him problems, hurt him a couple times. You know, you just look, we had never really seen him tested like this against this tough of a guy. And he did a very, very good job in this fight. Like he's for real.
Well, look, like I said, it was super close. And I thought that, look, I just thought Petr Yan was taking the rounds. I think the takedowns were a big part of the fight as well. And yeah, I agree with you. O'Malley fucking looked great. O'Malley is sharp as fuck. We saw without a doubt, O'Malley belongs, right?
Yes.
So even if you sort of say like, oh fuck, he was so robbed. And to be honest with you, I don't want to call conspiracy here, you know, and Dana White did show up for Skank Fest. We should point that out on Thursday night. Dana fucking White himself was in the crowd at Skank Fest. So I don't want to be one of these guys that are fucking shitting on Dana White and his operation, because I'm a fan and I hope that he keeps on showing up for Skank Fest every year. But I will say it's a little fucking, you know, very often, and maybe I'm speaking out of my ass right now, but very often, you know, the guy who's supposed to win, that's the fan favorite, that it's better for the UFC to win. When it's a close decision, it goes their way. It goes their way very, very often. And
I trust that the honest regulators of Abu Dhabi would never allow anything like this to happen. Those people are on the up and up. All right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about any of that shit. Maybe, who the fuck knows? But
I don't think that anything happens like that, but it wouldn't absolutely surprise me.
I'll tell you, I don't think Yan doesn't lose too much, like in my book at all. And then he's still like one of the absolute top guys, and he'll he'll be in a huge fight with one of the top guys in his next fight, and he still could make a run back to the title.
He will make a run back to the title most likely, and
I think there's a very good shot.
A loss like this where it's a split decision, super exciting fight.
These guys might fight again for the title.
Where a lot of people
point.
think that he won the fight. Yeah, he likely will. He's pretty secure, and I mean, not for nothing. He's just that guy. Like he's gonna be tough for any of these guys to beat anyway.
And the truth is, if this was a 5-round fight, he probably ends up winning decisively. He was starting to figure out reads. Like he tends to do this. You know what I mean? Petr Yan kind of starts slow, gets your timing, figures out reads, and starts being very difficult. But Sean O'Malley was like launched by this fight. As far as I'm concerned, like we saw things out of him that we've never seen before. Obviously he had the fight with Chito Vera where he got leg kicked and fucked up one of his legs. We've never really seen him get cracked the way he got cracked and keep fighting, kind of see like his toughness, like that whole aspect of fighting. He was just doing like, he's been in there with a lot of guys who he just outclassed in terms of striking, but to be up against the best striker in the division. And he was giving him problems with like really high level shit that he was doing. He was throwing like tons of feints at him and keeping Yan off balance in ways that like I've never really seen anyone do to him before. It was just very, very impressive. And look, man, this is good for the UFC because this dude is like, this is kind of why you're saying there could be a conspiracy aspect. But either way, it's just the truth is that this is good for the UFC because this kid is like, he's a fucking star, and now he's backing it up.
Unquestionably a star, and I agree with you. And I think that's actually because it was a kind of a questionable decision. I think people aren't saying what you're saying, which is that it's a coming out party for Sean O'Malley. It actually, in a weird way, it takes away from how good he was. Even if you think he lost the fight, you'd have to go like, oh shit, he's still top 3 in the world,
hanging with the best guy in the division.
Yeah, unquestionably. So, but here's the thing: you mentioned Chito Vera. I think this does make it really interesting because now Petr Yan versus Chito Vera is a matchup that they should make. Right, Chito Vera's 4 in a row right now, and Sean O'Malley is going to end up fighting for the title. I think that's what Dana White said. I think it's all but confirmed that he's going to fight next for the title. So you have sort of a little, top 4 guys there, and everyone has history with the other one, Chito Vera and Sean O'Malley, obviously Petr Yan and fucking Aljamain. I mean, all these guys, the little 4-way dance of truly 4 of the best in the world. And it does bring us over to the Aljamain fight. And to be honest with you, I got to say, I feel bad for Aljamain because who knows how good he would have looked in this fight. He was fighting a guy with one arm. TJ Dillashaw was just not himself. You can't, it is what it is. TJ Dillashaw, fucking super gutsy, shouldn't have fought the fight. If your shoulder popped out 20 times during training camp and
I'll say one thing about the fight. Listen, you're absolutely right about that. Not only shouldn't have fought the fight, it's like that's an understatement. It's insane that he fought this fight. He said his shoulder popped out 20 times during training, and he told the ref in the back he was pretty sure it was gonna pop out. And he said, "But look, I'm just gonna take the title fight because I don't want to wait another year for my title fight." If I'm taking him at his word at that, you're like, look, man, that is fucking ballsy, but it's also really stupid.
Yeah, stupid. It's kind of shitty. It's kind of shitty to the people who pay $75 for the pay-per-view. It's shitty to the other guys in the division.
It's also just stupid for yourself. So now you're going to go in and get smashed. And like, I don't know. It just would have been way better off for you to not do this. I will say one thing, and I was picking TJ Dillashaw to win this fight going in, obviously not knowing any of this shit. The only thing that truly happened in the fight before his shoulder popped out was that Aljo did take him down within the first like 20 seconds of the fight. And that in itself would have been surprising to me. Now, obviously, his shoulder pops out there.
Is that when the shoulder popped? Like the first takedown?
I believe it was like right. I think it was on the first takedown, like as he took him down. But he took him down. You know what I mean? And that already just changes the way I would think about this fight. That like, oh,
granted,
Aljo,
if he's got a fucked up shoulder, the way he's sprawling, the way he's trying to dig under, like, there's other sides.
He caught a kick, I think, right, and then just like fucking drove him down and got on top of him. He was also trying to draw Aljamain Sterling into a stand-up fight.
He couldn't grapple and do that. So that doesn't necessarily tell me as much. Look, I think Aljo is fucking incredible. And I think that he's getting some bad breaks right now with the way that he won the title. You know, he fought a really close rematch with Petr Yan. Some people are saying that he lost that fight. I don't think I thought he had a great performance.
Well, he won the title by getting kneed in the head when he was down. Then he defended the title, but in a very close fight. But I did think he probably won that fight. I don't even know if I thought he won, but I thought it was close enough.
He won. I thought
he was on his back. He was on his back for 2 full rounds. I mean, I don't know how much can you really be upset at the decision. And then this, I mean, yeah, you could say he's getting unlucky. On the other hand, he would have had a much tougher fight on his hands against TJ Dillashaw if he was healthy. I will say,
well, you want to be undisputed. These guys aren't. Look, that's the mentality that this is fat comedian mentality. You and I have that mentality. We're like, dude, easy path, another easy victory.
That's skinny comedian mentality.
But no, it's still a fat comedian mentality. Just because you're skinny, it doesn't matter.
It's a mind state.
It's a fat fucking mind state where you would want the easier path, and you want oh shit, dude, I'll take an injured Dillashaw all day, every day.
Yes, whereas when you retain your title,
but Aljamain Sterling, there's questions about how he won the title. A lot of people are saying he didn't even win the rematch. I'm sure, and he can act like it doesn't bother him all day long, dude. But people read these comments. People are on social media. They're humans like you or I. These are fucking normal fucking dudes. And they're honestly just like comedians. It's a very narcissistic type of personality type that goes into fighting. It's a one man. Dude, you're sort of obsessed with yourself. These guys are on social media all day long. Those comments fucking bother him. I guarantee you. And he doesn't want to have another oh yeah, dude, you beat TJ Dillashaw, but it wasn't the fucking real TJ Dillashaw.
Sure. But
he's got to have a big defining victory.
Yeah,
that makes everyone go, holy fucking shit. And to be honest with you, Sean O'Malley, that's a great fucking. When you're looking,
it's a good matchup for him too. It's a good matchup for Aljo. Out of all the guys at the top, that's probably the best matchup for him. But look, you're right about that. That he needs a defining victory to really have the kind of to start being in the conversation of a great champion or something like that. But when you retain the title, it's really only a matter of time until you're going to get that opportunity. You're going to be fighting the best guys in the division until you lose your title, and he'll have his chance. And look, I mean, his fight with Corey Sandhagen. I'm sorry. That's his nickname, right? Sandhagen. That fight was, he just fucking took him down, took his back, and choked him out immediately. And I'm just comparing another kind of lanky striker guy. And now I don't know if you could do that to Sean O'Malley or not, but that would seem to be kind of the area. If you wanted to find a fighter to give Sean O'Malley problems, you'd probably say make him a fucking monster wrestler with really great submissions. And that's what Aljo is. So we'll see. I mean, that might be a matchup that isn't so bad for Aljo.
Also, I mean, on the flip side as well, I have to imagine O'Malley has a massive reach advantage, massive reach advantage.
Yep.
And a decided striking advantage as well. These are big gaps that it's striker versus grappler in a very, very true sense, right? I always side with grappler to this day.
It tends to win more too.
When I just pick the guy who's got better grappling. I just feel like it's a better base to fall on. If Aljo can get on the inside and take him down, I think it's going to be fun. I don't. What is O'Malley's credentials as a grappler? I mean, he's not what. Sorry, Whitney Cummings is texting me right now. Roast joke. She's a fucking lunatic. I love her. I'm doing the panel on her roast.
Yeah, you told me that's great.
She's a fucking batshit crazy lunatic. I love her. She's hilarious, but she's fucking every time she texts me, it's fucking 20 texts in a row, and it's just fucking all over the place. She's fucking so wacky broad. I'm gonna have a fun time roasting her.
Hell yeah. So you're saying O'Malley's grappling background? I don't really know.
What is O'Malley? Is he Coop? You got some background on him?
I pulled up the information on him. It says here he's a BJJ brown belt, and that's from May 24th, 2021. So he could have gone up one, but that seems to be the most likely thing.
He does grappling. He grapples at Grappling Industries in Phoenix.
Yeah, look, all these guys are good, and I didn't know he was a brown belt, so I'm sure he's got good jiu-jitsu. He's very long and stuff. The issue is that you go if he goes to the ground with Aljo, he's probably going to be on bottom of Aljo. And when you get to this level, even someone who's a brown belt, you're if Aljo's on top of you, you're going to have
even
it's
a black
tough-
belt. Aljo's a very, very, very high level grappler, right?
Yes.
And so even a high level black belt would have trouble with Aljo on top of them, right? Aljo's got better wrestling. He's I would think the more explosive, dynamic athlete, right?
Yeah.
Like he's super explosive. I think if he fights a really smart game plan, he wins that fight. However, dude, fucking O'Malley's got crazy striking, crazy
I'm
angles.
interested.
The kicks are fucking wild. The knees, the elbows. He's a fun, funky fighter, dude. I'm actually talking about this fight right now. I want to see it. Yes, I do think that Petr Yan won that fight. I got to go watch it back. I'm not a fucking judge. I don't think it's highway robbery. But as we're talking about it, Petr Yan's safe, dude. Petr Yan right now, to be honest with you, I think he probably beats Chito Vera. And I love Chito. I'm a fucking massive fan of Chito Vera.
Me too. Huge fan of Chito Vera. He's incredible. That might be a tough matchup for Chito Vera. Although, look, this dude Chito Vera is one of those guys who's in a space now where, you don't know exactly where the ceiling is. Sometimes there's these guys who are like very talented fighters and then seem to kind of come into their own and go on a big run. And he seems to be in the middle of that right now. So like, where exactly does he take that to? I don't know. Petr Yan is really, really fucking tough. So technical, such a good striker. And my guess would be, if I had to pick gun to my head, I'd pick Petr Yan to win that fight. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that all on one card.
Yeah.
Let that be the co-main.
That's a beautiful little mix up. Who else is at the top of 145 or 135 that has some wins?
Well, what was wasn't there talk of Henry Cejudo coming back? Not someone who has wins, but there's talk of that, which can always happen.
Can I be honest with you? Like, fucking Cejudo's great. What do we got here? These are the rankings at 135. Please pull them up.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Coop. Good job, buddy. Fucking Coop finally doing his job. Finally,
he's on it today. I love.
He really
this.
is on it.
I mean, I'll be honest. The rankings still aren't up. Am I the only one who's going to point this out here? He just showed us the link to the rankings, but we have not seen the rankings yet.
He jumped the gun.
We're still not at the rankings.
Coop, we got to tweak things. Just get them up before you go to the screen. How about that? No.
Yeah. What's his name? How do you say Marab Dishlaveckiok?
It's definitely not Dishlaveckiok.
It's the Volishvili.
Dave, you literally gave up halfway through the word, even looking at letters.
Well, I mean, I thought it was just funnier the way I did it. Dishlaveckiok is pretty incredible. You got Corey Sandhagen, who's there. So we'll see what happens with TJ. I don't really even fucking know. Yeah, I mean, like, but the thing is, all these other guys, Rob Font and Dominic Cruz and those guys, they've had some losses recently. So there's really it's pretty elite right now in the top four. The champion in the top four. That's really who the conversation is.
Pull up Dishlaveckiok's record.
Oh, Lewis, you didn't even read it right.
I tried at least. At least I tried, Dave.
That was you trying your hardest.
Let's see. 15-4. How many does he got in a row in the UFC? Yeah, he's got a little win streak going. He had a couple losses back in the day.
Or he beat okay, cool. Right. Okay.
He beat Aldo.
He just beat Aldo.
Right. He beat Marlon Moraes and then beat Aldo. Yeah, I mean, these are good wins.
Yeah. I still think you have the
Aldo
power.
fight. The Aldo fight also was just kind of like one of those like, look, he did good, but what was basically the whole fight was him trying to take Aldo down and not being able to, and then holding him up against the cage. That was like the entire fight. It's just hard to get like too hyped off. Like, oh yeah, I want to fucking see.
Cheeto's Cheeto's on a really good tear, right? Dominic Cruz, Rob Font, Frankie Edgar, Davey Grant. I mean, Davey Grant's not as big of a star, but I mean, he's got 3 big stars, and then he's also got the win over O'Malley. So there's there's a little bit more, in my opinion, steam, a little more heat. Marlon Vera's a star. Marlon Vera's he's a guy he's got an edge to him. He's got a lot of marketability to him. So yeah, dude, I think that's the fight to make is Petr Yan versus Cheeto. All right.
Agreed.
Let's talk. There's really not much else to say about TJ Dillashaw versus Aljo. So let's talk main event.
Sure, let's do it.
What'd you think?
You know, I got to tell you, I was surprised by a few things. Now, I knew Islam is very, very good. And I know that, you know, Khabib's been saying, no, this guy's going to rule the division. And I don't, you know, you don't take that lightly when Khabib says shit like that. I thought overall that Oliveira would pose more problems for him on the ground than he ended up posing. I was also I definitely underestimated what a hand speed advantage he had over Charles Oliveira. Like when they were standing and trading, his boxing was just sharper and faster than what
crisper,
Oliveira had.
more powerful.
I was really surprised by. I just didn't know. I did not think that's how they would match up. I don't know. What can you fucking say? He fucking
Oliveira
dropped
had
him.
a couple minutes in the fight where he was sort of like trying to bully him and not let Makhachev get sort of take the center of the octagon. And, you know, he was doing his best here to like, it was right here. He pushed him up against the fence. There was a lot of that to the point I was watching it going like, oh shit, dude. I was like, he's actually doing a good job at not letting Makhachev dictate the fight. And that's what these guys do is these Dagestanis, they fucking dictate the fight. And once they make it their fight, it's over. And the reality is jiu-jitsu at this level, when you're dealing with guys that have that high level of grappling. I mean, look, Makhachev is great at jiu-jitsu as well. And he's also a beast on top. I mean, dude, this is fun. It was not the fact that he was able to tap him out. It was so fucking tight, dude. I mean, it's also the way you win, right? He beats Oliveira, a guy who has more submissions in the lightweight division than anyone else in the history of the UFC, by submitting him and taking the title from him in his own thing.
And he's
it wasn't like he just grinded him out for fucking 5 rounds, which is a lot of people would have guessed was what was going to happen if he was going to
win. Yeah, but also just that he beat a guy who, besides Khabib, is coming off he's on the greatest streak in lightweight history. I mean, he's just been incredible in beating all the top guys. And then to like outclass that guy, to beat him in the striking and the grappling and submit the jiu-jitsu black belt as like, I mean, that's like as much of a statement win as you could have. And now you just look at it and you go, oh, geez, dude. I mean, I guess all the shit Khabib was saying about this guy is for real. He is that fucking good. And okay, he's not undefeated like Khabib. He has 1 loss, I think, where he got caught earlier in his career. But you start to look around and you're not like, oh my God, look at all these amazing fights that this opens up. I'm just kind of like, I don't know how I see anyone fucking with this dude right now.
I agree.
Who's going to come fuck with this guy?
Looking for a hot take here, but what if Oliveira had held out and they had fought in Brazil?
I mean, who knows? But I don't think
he would have gotten embarrassed in Brazil. Yeah, that wasn't going to do anything.
I don't see it making much of a difference. Now, look, I mean, Charles Oliveira still might be the toughest opponent for him. I mean, Charles Oliveira still was the guy who was, you know, head and shoulders above the rest of the division. And he does have the jiu-jitsu to, like, you know, he had some okay moments in the fight. But I'm just making the point that, yeah, from what I saw in that fight, it doesn't look like it'd be any different if they fought in a couple months in a different location. And I don't know. It like there's killers in this division, but do I really think that like Justin Gaethje's gonna fuck with this dude? I mean, I saw Justin Gaethje fight Khabib. Is that, you know, I don't really think that you know, Dustin Poirier, who I also saw fight Khabib, I just don't. I have a feeling it would just be what we saw with those guys last time they fought a guy from Dagestan.
I wonder if Oliveira felt like he was in the clutches of the moon jellyfish.
He was like, oh no, it's so fleshy. Goes,
it's like meat.
You assume it's going to feel like jelly, but it feels a lot more like meat.
They should call them meat fishes.
Oh, why they don't call them meat fish? The moon meat fish.
Oh shit. Yeah, dude. Look, I don't know who beats Islam. He's
obviously Christianity.
Who pull up the other light?
Well, the next. Oh, by the way, we should say the next fight, because I haven't even mentioned this, but the next fight they set up after the fight is him versus Volkanovski. Which, okay, look,
is that official?
Well, he came in the ring afterward, and like he challenged him, and then he accepted it. I'll tell you, look, Volkanovski looked amazing against Max Holloway, but I just don't. I mean, with the size, you know, and him coming up, I don't see how Islam doesn't just grab him and fucking just, maul him.
Yeah.
Dana said that that's what he's working on. It's pretty much all but official.
Yeah, dude. So Benil Dariush just jumped up the rankings. I mean, look, dude, honestly, here's the thing. Like, there's guys like Chandler or Gaethje, right, who have one punch knockout power.
Sure.
And they can hang with the wrestling, right? So there's always sort of like that question of, can they land that shot? But that's really all it is. Can they land that shot? Because if it turns into a grappling match, they're going to lose the grappling match. They
might lose the striking match, very likely. You know what I mean?
They very well likely could lose the strike. I'm just saying that.
No, I agree with you. They have a puncher's chance at landing something. It's just, it's very hard for me to see that. It seems very unlikely that one of those guys would pull it off. Dariush is very good. I mean, maybe,
but they're going to need to give him another big. He needs a big win against like a name guy. That's the reality in order to get him over. But dude, honestly, with 8 in a row and as good as he looked in that fight, dude, he looked like a fucking monster, and in every area of the fight as well. I think Benil, poses some interesting challenges. He actually might have a better chance than most guys at 155.
A very good grappler, a very good striker. I mean, yeah. Again, though, it just doesn't seem very likely.
Yeah.
Like we have to, it's hard to judge these things in MMA, but the statement that Islam just made, you kind of go like, oh yeah, dude, I think this guy might be champ for a long time.
Let's do some plugs real quick, Dave. Then we're going to have to get into some of these other notes. Victor, are you doing a triangle of truth today? I have no idea.
I am not, but there's a few things we can go over quickly.
We can do some quick hits here. We're going to wrap up here in about 15, 20 minutes. Dave Smith, what you plugging?
Oh, I'll be in Poughkeepsie in November 25th, 26th with Robbie the Fire Bernstein and BK Chris at Laugh It Up. And then in December, me and you doing the New Year's Eve show out in at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. We return to our New Year's Eve tradition at the Comedy Store. I'm very excited for that. First time since COVID.
Zach and Miko, Colin Turl, I believe, coming. We're going to have a bunch of great comics. Victor's invited. Vic Mysterio.
Vic, you're invited to this one.
Okay, I appreciate that. I don't want to be left out anymore. Although
spend New Year's with us, dude.
You know what? I really should. I really should. LA, right?
Yep.
That's it. All right. Well, we'll work on that.
All right. Sounds good. And that's all part of the problem. Legion of Skanks.
Yeah, subscribe at GasDigitalNetwork.com. Get the entire on-demand library for all of the shows, all ad-free, uncensored, and in one place. Use that promo code YOMMA and get a 7-day free trial. Instant access to everything right there and then, plus access to the Races live chat and many other member benefits. I'm on the road as well. Me and Aaron Berg rounding out the Offend Everyone tour. We're touring up until January. This Sunday night we'll be in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at Helium Comedy Club. Very excited about these shows. And then a bunch of other shows coming up. Miami, November 18th and 19th. And a lot of other stuff. Fort McHenry, Illinois coming up in December. Toronto in December. lewisofskanks.com for those tickets and more. And check out my other pods. Real Ass Podcast, Legion of Skanks.
Toronto, Illinois, or Toronto, Canada?
You know what it is.
Just checking.
Illinois.
This weekend we got Anderson Silva versus Jake Paul. Ooh. I will be watching this. I will be one of the only people buying it. People just steal these things on the internet. I refuse.
How much is it?
I have no idea. What do you think? I think they're going to try to charge $40 for it.
I was going to guess 50, but maybe.
You guys are probably wrong. I think it's more like 70. I'll look it up.
You think it's going to be some fucking elite level shit?
They are killing it with these pay-per-view prices. I mean, it is insane. Basically,
dude, I got it here. It's $60. That's 60. Crazy.
Ooh, me and Vic tie.
I'm going to buy it. I have my son has a Halloween party on Saturday during the day, which, by the way, Dave, you should bring the kids. It's going to be the best one we've ever done. Vic, you're invited.
I appreciate that. I wish I could be there.
I don't think your Halloween parties will work for my little babies.
Why?
Because everything I've seen out of them, you're just going to terrify my
Well, I
1
am
and
playing.
3-year-olds.
I am playing Creepy the Clown this year, which is
my kids will be nowhere near
a clown from hell. Well, actually, no, he's not a clown from hell. So what I told the kids, which we're going to tell them early on, is that you got to be careful because there's a crazy person that escaped from an insane asylum. I was like,
Dave, keep your kids away from there, please.
We
Dave.
we booked a fun clown as well, but then we're going to keep on being, but guys, keep a lookout for, make sure that no insane people show up, and then creep.
And here's the kicker: we actually let an insane person loose in the house. They'll think it's just a gag for Halloween. You see, who knows what this guy might do? I gave him LSD and a steak knife.
Ever since the little faux pas yesterday on the text messages, all I can picture is Lewis dressed up for Halloween as Elton John as a duck. When he's up there in a giant rubber ducky playing the piano. I just could picture Lewis in that outfit because he's a real duck sometimes.
It's not bad. Such a duck. Such a fucking duck.
So anyway, it's gonna be. I'm gonna juggle. I'm coming out and doing a whole magic show. Last year, Victor, I did. It was Dr. Death. There was a special doctor who was doing surgeries on a living patient last year. This year, we're gonna do some crazy magic and some tricks with the kids.
I thought you were actually Dr. Death, Steve Williams, the pro wrestler. That's what I thought. I was like, that's real niche for the kids there. Hey, by the way, did you guys see this Hamzat altercation after the main event at the cage?
I did not see that. What happened?
Well, I didn't see. I heard something about this, but I didn't see it. What happened?
I forget that other guy's name, but he had to be. It's another Dagestani fighter, like we talk about. But I sent a specific link to Becca. Becca, if you could help me out with that. It's weird. He's talking to this other fighter who fought earlier. What's his name? It's one of these crazy names. That's why I can't remember it off the top of my head. But they're like really close, chatting with each other, and it looks like they're about to hug. And then next thing you know, Hamzat goes crazy, and everybody starts breaking him up. And apparently, these guys.
Helena's like, your mother smell like camel shit.
Yeah, here it is. What's his name?
What did you say?
Scroll down. Let's see the name real quick. Yeah, see?
Your beard is smaller than my beard. Ooh.
Just a weird moment post-fight from these guys who apparently are just insane people.
It is very strange that the UFC, they do sort of allow this to happen a little too much. There should be more. If you find guys fucking $25,000 for putting their hands on somebody else, it just wouldn't happen. They would stop doing it.
Abu Bakar. That was
God bless you. Gesundheit.
Abu Bakar number Gamadev stuff.
Dude.
There you go. I blew it.
There's a lot of Muslims taking over in the UFC as well. How do you feel about that, Dave, as a Christian conservative?
I'm okay with it. I'm on the Muslim side. I think it was wrong that we framed them for doing 9/11. We all know it was the Jews.
It's true.
And
get kicked off YouTube.
We're not getting kicked off YouTube. That's actually factual, Vic.
That's it. No. I'm kidding. I'm one of the Jews. I'm telling you, we did 9/11. I was one of the people on the team.
All we need is Kanye West, and then we're banned from everything.
I think it's kind of like it's interesting though. It's like everything else in MMA. It's there's always like kind of these almost seeming like plateaus where, oh shit, we got to this level now, and no one's ever going to beat that guy. But somebody always kind of figures it out. I think it's just good for the sport. It'll force other people to up their game more and more and more. And these guys are not, they're incredible, but like, look, even Hamzat, right? Gilbert Burns gave him a lot of trouble. Nate Diaz beat him. So I just think that, there will be good fights out there. There will be tests, that there'll be interesting things that'll happen. It just might be a few years down the road.
Yeah.
Here's a poll question I'm going to put up. Who gets the next theme here in MMA? Who becomes the next Islam, Muslims, Jews, or Puerto Ricans?
The Jews we're waiting a little bit
by the way, we're talking about the two least successful groups in mixed martial arts.
Jews and Puerto Ricans.
I can name like two of each.
Oh
It's like-
man,
it's
that's
like
why.
baseball.
That's why we're here, Lewis, doing this podcast.
Yeah,
It's
dude,
like
it was
baseball. One of you guys is due.
Jorge Rivera.
Jorge Rivera,
He was Puerto Rican
Fucking-
from New York.
Puerto Rican from New York.
And wasn't there the other guy? There's the one guy that he calls himself the Bear Jew.
Yeah, well, he was on the Ultimate Fighter, right?
Paul Craig.
Paul Craig is the Bear Jew.
Oh, is he a Jew? Paul Craig? I didn't.
He
that's
must
not
be.
I
even-
think he's
Otherwise-
Scottish. I don't know if he's Jewish.
But you could be Jewish and Scottish, can't you?
That's true.
Technically.
Find out
Not
if Paul
often.
Craig is Jewish. He calls himself the Bear Jew. If he's not Jewish, that's fucking hilarious.
Maybe you could get a guy to convert like Bryan Cranston in the on Seinfeld for the jokes. He converts, to represent for the fighters.
Well, who there was an Ultimate Fighter guy, right? There was like
yes. I'm trying to look.
it was
this
like
up.
there's been a few Rorys and fucking Shlomos.
I want a
Couple
real.
Shlomos.
Has there really been a Shlomo?
No,
This-
Paul
I
Craig,
want a
Jew
real
or not
Jewish,
Jew.
Jewish fighter, man.
The only thing that's coming up when I look at this is Ariel Hawani.
Not a Jew. Wow, he just calls himself the Bear Jew, and he's not even a Jew. That's hilariously inappropriate.
That's cultural appropriation.
It is.
I'm not finding much.
Well, here's another thing I wanted to bring up. There's just been a couple little stories here, but Paddy's next fight is announced. Paddy Pimblett. And
That's right.
he
It's
is
against who was it against?
It is against, what is his name here? Jared Gordon, who has a 7-4 UFC record.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're slow playing Patty.
What do you think happened with Terrence? We had to talk.
Are they
Terrence.
protecting him from Terrence McKinney? Yes.
Well, look, dude, I mean, it's like if they're giving him a guy like that, then they're pretty clearly going like, look, this dude is a superstar, but he's had some very close fights with unranked opponents. And we're not just going to throw him to the fucking
We're going to
wolves
continue
right
in the
now.
unranked streak. And by the way, that's not a knock on Patty. It's what they should be doing.
Yeah.
Patty's a young fucking buck who's coming along in the UFC and doing well against other young bucks in the UFC. He just happens to be super fucking charismatic and he's a star and he's fucking got that it
Yeah,
quality.
just talk shit, gets fat. You want
It
to hang
just
with him.
shouldn't. It's like, man, vacation, which I did. I put on a good 15 on this one, baby boy. Woo.
Clearly, Belize is a close second right now.
But yeah, Patty, he should be slow played a little bit. They should be doing exactly what they're doing with him. But I don't think that Terrence McKinney is not slow playing him. I think Terrence McKinney is also in this a very similar position in his
Except
career.
he fought Dauber, you know what I mean? Like he's jumping in there with guys like, so I don't know. Yeah, no, I think, as I said before, I think that fight makes sense. And I think that even if you are going to argue, it's like, oh, well, you have to kind of like kill the momentum of one of them off. It's like, yeah, but you build the momentum of the other one so much. Like you built, you know what I mean? Like it's that would be like, that would be huge for Terrence McKinney to go out there.
The upside for Paddy Pimblett right now, they get entire countries. They fill stadiums with guys like that, you know. And Terrence, no matter how good he gets right now, it is going to be a slower rise to the top.
Yeah, they're not going to take
Terrence,
him to go headline
Terrence
a
has
card.
to fucking be. Here's the thing. Like, look,
Terrence is going to fill a stadium in Wakanda.
Terrence would have to. Terrence has to become Israel Adesanya. That was racist. Terrence would have to become Israel Adesanya, like level.
No, but Israel Adesanya is filling stadiums in like Australia and shit. So it's not even the right. You know what I mean? It's like there is something about that when you represent a foreign market that you just it kind of like becomes this thing where you become like the ambassador of that country's MMA.
And they really give a fuck. All these soccer playing fucking
they're very nationalistic. They really like someone to. I mean, do you remember
beans and rice eating motherfuckers? They love to root for their own countrymen.
I mean,
it's a different thing, dude. Americans, I will fucking root for the best guy. That's the way Americans work. We want the best. We're like, dude, I want to be behind the best guy. I don't give a fuck what his nationality is. You will get some country bumpkin fucking people. It's so rare. The whole like USA, you just don't really get that. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you do. But it's not really, dude. It's like I'll tell you right now. Fucking If Israel Adesanya is on a card, he's getting the biggest fucking pop. If Conor McGregor's on a card, he's getting. It doesn't matter how fucking. It doesn't matter how many American flags you come out with. If you're fighting Conor McGregor, you know, the reality is you're probably going to be not the fan favorite. Nate Diaz changed sort of that to a certain degree, but he was like the only fucking dude. And then even so, if you pulled that crowd, there might have still been more people who wanted Conor to win that fight.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. But you see, like, I mean, I remember obviously GSP in Canada when Bisping went and fought in London. I remember, I mean, it was like he was a god. They're just like, you know, Connor and, you know, the Irish people are crazy. They go for him. And like, yeah, there's something about that. So that is a very good point. I hadn't really thought about it that much, but that's another reason why they probably really do want to build Paddy up as much as they can. But the truth is, eventually he's going to have to fucking get tested. It's not like we're even talking about throwing him in there with the fucking top 5 guys. We're just talking about another like young prospect who looks incredible.
Yep. We got to wrap this one up unless there's anything else absolutely pressing, Vic.
No, we got to wrap up. I love it.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. Shout out to Yo Kratom for supporting this show. Support
Hell yeah,
Yo Kratom, home of the
Kratom.
$60 kilo, YoKratom.com. We'll be back with our normal time next Monday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Gas Digital Network, GasDigitalNetwork.com. All right. Until then, have yourselves a great week. Enjoy Anderson Silva versus Jake Paul this weekend. Official pick, Dave?
Anderson Silva knocks him out in the 3rd round.
I say Anderson Silva. Yeah, dude, fucking 2nd round sniper knockout. Anderson Silva's back, baby boy. Lets this kid knows what the fuck is up. Come on. It's Anderson. It's the spider. He's a legend. All right. We'll check you next week. Peace.
Yo!